You ever have that gut feeling that something's off? That little itch in the back of your skull telling you the puzzle pieces don't quite fit? Yeah, I ignored that feeling for months, convincing myself I was just paranoid, just overthinking things. But then the credit card charges started popping up. My wife, Amanda, had always been a gym rat, but in the last 6 months, her commitment had gone from, I should go a few times a week, to, I will literally die if I miss a session. It was borderline obsessive. And hey, I wasn't complaining. If she wanted to get stronger, feel good about herself, whatever, cool. But then I started noticing the charges. Not at the gym, but at places like a fancy organic juice bar I'd never heard of, some boutique athletic store that sells leggings for the price of a car payment, and here's the kicker, a high-end hotel bar across town. First, I laughed it off. Amanda and I had been married for 8 years, and she wasn't the type to pull shady shit, right? Then came the lies. Little ones at first. Oh, babe, my class ran over, so I grabbed a smoothie after. Yeah, I had to buy new cycling shoes. My old ones were killing my feet. Oh, we had a girls' night after spin. Nothing major. But Amanda never did girls' nights. Amanda was all about routine, predictability, order. So I did what any normal, loving, slightly suspicious husband would do. I followed her. Not right away. I waited. I played it smart. A week later, when she said she was heading to her beloved spin class, I waited 10 minutes, then hopped in my truck and tailed her. She didn't go to the gym. She went to a hotel. And not just any hotel. The Carlisle Grand. A place so fancy even their cheapest rooms cost more than our mortgage. I watched from a distance as Amanda strolled in, looking way too dolled up for a post-workout smoothie. Tight leggings, cropped hoodie, hair styled like she was about to walk a damn runway. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. I just sat there, watching my wife disappear into a building she had no business being in. And that's when the reality of the situation hit me like a freight train. Amanda wasn't just skipping spin class. She was meeting someone. My stomach twisted into knots. My hands gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles turned white. I should have burst in there, made a scene, demanded answers. But instead, I did something better. I waited. I needed to know who she was meeting. And more importantly, I needed to know why. Because something about this didn't feel like just a normal affair. And holy hell, I had no idea how deep this mess really went. I barely slept that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I pictured Amanda at that damn hotel. Laughing, touching, kissing someone else. My brain was an absolute minefield of worst-case scenarios. But I couldn't blow up just yet. No, I needed proof. So, the next day, I did something I never thought I'd have to do. I called in a favor. See, my buddy Jake? He's got connections. Not in the bury a body in the woods kind of way, but he does know a guy who runs private security for some of the fancier spots in town, including, lucky me, the Carlisle Grand. You sure about this, man? Jake asked when I told him what I needed. Once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. I clenched my jaw. I have to know. Jake sighed. All right, give me an hour. While I waited, I did my best to act normal. Amanda came home all smiles, kissed me on the cheek like nothing had changed, and went straight upstairs to shower. I wondered if she was washing him off of her. My stomach turned. Then my phone buzzed. Jake, got something. Meet me at O'Malley's in 30. O'Malley's was a dive bar, the kind of place where the beer is cheap and the bartender doesn't ask questions. Jake was already at a corner booth when I got there, a whiskey in front of him. He slid a manila envelope across the table. Security footage, he said. Courtesy of my guy at the hotel. He pulled last night's tapes for me. I stared at the envelope like it might catch fire. Jake leaned back. You don't have to look at it now, man. You sure you want to do this? I wasn't. But I nodded anyway. Inside were a handful of stills printed from security footage. Each one a gut punch harder than the last. First, Amanda walking into the hotel lobby. Then, Amanda at the bar, sipping something neon and flirting with a man. Finally, Amanda getting into an elevator with him. And just like that, my marriage was a joke. I shoved the photos back in the envelope, gripping it so tight my nails dug into the paper. Who is he? I asked, voice like gravel. Jake exhaled. That's the real kicker. His name's Ryan Keller. He's a personal trainer. I frowned.
Amanda's trainer.
Not just hers, Jake said, shaking his head. This dude's got a reputation. He's a smooth talker, specializes in married women. Gets them hooked, makes them feel special, and then starts bleeding them dry. I froze. Bleeding them dry? Jake's expression darkened. Bro, your wife isn't his first. Hell, she's probably not even his only current client. He's running a goddamn scam. I felt like the wind had been knocked out of me. Amanda, my wife, wasn't just cheating. She was getting played. And suddenly, catching her in the act wasn't enough anymore. No, I needed to burn this guy to the ground. I sat in my truck outside O'Malley's, gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles went pale. My heart hammered against my ribs, not just from anger, but from realization. Amanda wasn't just cheating. She was a goddamn mark. Ryan Keller wasn't some random gym guy who charmed his way into my wife's leggings. He was running a game, a fucking scam artist. And Amanda had walked right into it. I spent the next 48 hours gathering every shred of information I could. Jake fed me details about Ryan, pulling from his own network of shady acquaintances. Turns out this wasn't his first rodeo. Ryan had a history of training married women, women with money. His game was textbook manipulation, grooming, make them feel special, like they're different from his other clients. Give them extra attention. Pretend to listen when their husbands don't. Emotional dependency. Slowly build an attachment. Make them need him. Maybe their husband doesn't compliment them enough. Maybe their home life feels stale. Doesn't matter. He exploits it. Financial bleed. Once they're hooked, the withdrawals start. Fancy dinners, weekend getaways, personalized training packages that cost more than a damn car. Women like Amanda don't even realize it's happening, until their bank accounts are missing thousands. Vanishing act. Once they've been drained dry, he ghosts them, moves on to the next woman, leaves them wrecked, ashamed, and, more often than not, divorced. And Amanda? She was midway through the cycle. The hotel wasn't the endgame, it was just another step. And I bet my last dollar she had no idea what she was walking into. I wasn't just pissed. I was furious. At Ryan. At Amanda. At myself. And I wasn't gonna sit back and let this bastard run his con on my wife. No. I was gonna burn his whole empire to the ground. The first thing I needed was leverage. I wasn't about to storm into Amanda's spin class and throw hands like some dumbass. No, this had to be strategic. So I did two things. I got more proof. I set a trap. Jake hooked me up with a burner phone and some recording equipment. If Ryan was playing my wife, then I was gonna play him right back. I started small, showing up at Amanda's gym. Not confronting her, not causing a scene. Just watching. And sure enough, there he was. Ryan Keller. Tall, built, the kind of good-looking that screamed. I spend more time staring at myself in the mirror than working out. He had that fake nice guy energy. Smiling too much, touching too much, speaking just a little too softly. And Amanda? She lit up around him. I watched from the sidelines as he leaned in close, hand on her back, whispering something that made her giggle. She never giggled around me anymore. It made me sick, but I kept my cool. I recorded everything. I saw him do the same exact thing to another woman, just 30 minutes later. Different smile, same routine. I asked around. Spoke to a couple of the other women in the gym, casual conversation, nothing too obvious. Most of them adored Ryan. But one woman hesitated. Her name was Stephanie and she used to train with Ryan before she suddenly quit the gym entirely. I don't really like to talk about it, she said, arms crossed, avoiding my eyes. That bad? I asked. She exhaled. Let's just say, he has a way of making you feel like you're the only person in the world. Until you're not. Bingo. I got her number and told her I'd be in touch. Because if Ryan Keller was running a long con, I needed someone who'd already escaped his web. That night, I tried to act normal. Amanda came home late again. Smiling, relaxed, her phone never leaving her hand. I played my part. Asked about her day. She told me about her workout, about how spin was kicking her ass but she loved it. I nodded. I smiled. And then I watched as she lied to my face. I knew what she was really doing. I knew where she had really been. But I needed her to think I was clueless. Because the moment she realized I knew, the game would change. The next morning, I made my first move. I called Stephanie. "Are you sure you want to dig into this?" she asked. "I don't have a choice," I said. She was silent for a moment. "All right," she said. "Meet me tomorrow. But I hope you're ready for what you're about to find out." Tomorrow, I'd learn just how deep Ryan's scam really went. And after that, I'd make sure he never did this to anyone ever again. Stephanie was nervous. That much was obvious. She kept shifting in her chair, stirring her coffee but never actually drinking it. She glanced at the cafe window every few seconds like she expected someone to walk in and drag her out by the wrist. I let the silence hang between us for a while, giving her space to figure out what she wanted to say. When she finally spoke, it was quiet, hesitant. "How much do you actually know about Ryan?" I exhaled through my nose. "I know he's a scammer. I know he's using my wife." Stephanie gave me a sad smile, like I was some poor idiot who didn't even realize how fucked he actually was. "It's worse than that," she said. "So much worse." She pulled out her phone and scrolled for a few seconds before turning the screen toward me. I squinted at the display, a blurry picture of a piece of paper, lined with names and numbers. "This," she said, "is a list of every woman he's ever conned." My pulse kicked up. The list was long. Names, ages, notes scribbled in the margins. Some had dollar amounts next to them, thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars. Amanda's name wasn't on the list. Not yet. But I recognized a few others. Women from our gym. Stephanie pointed to one near the top. Sarah Lancaster, married for 11 years. Ryan convinced her to invest in a business opportunity with him. She gave him 20 grand before realizing there was no investment. Just his pocket. Another name. Another story. Jessica Reynolds. He promised to leave his crazy ex for her. She paid for his apartment for 6 months before she figured out she wasn't the only woman he was feeding that story to. It went on and on. Women who had emptied their savings, taken out loans, even left their husbands because Ryan made them believe he was their perfect escape. And once he got what he wanted, he disappeared. My stomach churned as I flipped through the screenshots Stephanie had saved. Text messages, love notes, pictures of extravagant gifts these women had bought for him. I felt like I was looking into the future. A future where Amanda was just another name on this fucking list. "How did you get out?" I asked, voice tight. Stephanie swallowed hard. "I was lucky. My husband caught on before I got in too deep. He confronted Ryan at the gym, and Ryan dropped me like a bad habit." I clenched my jaw. So that was the trick. If a husband found out, Ryan cut and ran. Coward. Stephanie must have seen something on my face because she leaned in, dropping her voice to a whisper. "Listen to me, Chris. You can't just confront him and expect him to stop. He'll lie. He'll twist everything. Hell, he'll probably tell Amanda you're the bad guy, that you're controlling, that you don't trust her." I ran a hand down my face. She wasn't wrong. Amanda was already hooked. If I came at this the wrong way, she'd defend him. Maybe even cut me off completely. No, I had to be smarter. I had to make Amanda see the truth herself. I had to trap Ryan in his own game. I started laying the groundwork that night. Amanda was getting ready for bed, standing in front of the mirror, rubbing some overpriced night cream into her skin. I walked up behind her, slid my arms around her waist, pressed my lips to her neck. She smiled, leaned into me. I felt sick. "You been hitting the gym extra hard, huh?" I asked casually. Amanda beamed. "Yeah, feels good, you know? Like, I'm getting back to myself." I nodded like I believed her. "You and your trainer must be spending a lot of time together." Her body stiffened for half a second. A blink and you miss it reaction. Then she relaxed again, laughing softly. "Ryan? Yeah, he's been really helpful. He actually recommended this new recovery shake that's been a game changer." "Oh, I bet he did." I played dumb. Maybe I should meet him, get some training tips. Amanda's smile faltered. Just a flicker. Yeah, sure. I guess. Bingo. If there was nothing going on, she wouldn't hesitate. She'd set up a session, invite me to the gym. But instead, she looked nervous. That's when I knew. Ryan wasn't just working his con. He was already warning her about me. I needed a direct line into their conversations. And I knew exactly how to get it. I dug Amanda's old laptop out of the closet while she was asleep, powered it up, and got to work. Since we shared an Apple account, her messages synced across all her devices. All it took was a few clicks. And just like that, I had everything. The texts were exactly what I expected. Ryan, you looked so damn good today. I almost couldn't focus on our workout. Smirking face. Amanda, haha, stop. You're such a flirt. I gritted my teeth, scrolling further. Ryan, if Chris ever starts getting suspicious, just tell him you're training for a marathon or something. Dudes never question fitness goals, lol. Amanda, haha, you're bad. Ryan, only for you, baby. Winking face, baby. I gripped the laptop so hard I thought I might snap it in half. But I wasn't done yet, because the real gold, it was in the bank statements. Amanda had sent Ryan over $4,000 in the last 2 months. Training fees, supplements, even a plane ticket to Miami for a fitness retreat, she never mentioned to me. I sat there in the dark, staring at the evidence. My wife. My fucking wife. I could end it right now. Wake her up, shove the laptop in her face, demand answers. But no, that wouldn't be enough. Ryan Keller didn't just get to walk away from this. I wasn't just going to bust Amanda. I was going to expose him. I was going to make sure every woman he ever scammed saw him for what he really was. And when I was done, Ryan Keller was going to wish he never met my wife. I had everything I needed. Ryan Keller wasn't just sleeping with my wife, he was running a long con. He played Amanda like a damn fiddle, making her feel special, making her believe she was different. Meanwhile, she was wiring him money, covering his expenses, probably thinking she was helping him. The thing is, Ryan wasn't just a cheater. He was a predator. He targeted married women, vulnerable women, women who felt neglected or unappreciated. He made them fall for him, drained their bank accounts, and then vanished like a ghost. And I was about to make him very, very real. I just needed one final piece to make sure he never pulled this shit again. I needed Amanda to admit it. The next morning, I acted like everything was normal. I made coffee, kissed Amanda on the forehead, told her I had a late meeting at work. She barely looked up from her phone, probably texting him. I checked her messages later. Ryan, morning, gorgeous. Face blowing a kiss. Amanda, good morning. Can't wait to see you later. Red heart. Later. So they were meeting today. Perfect. I followed Amanda after she left for her workout. I expected another hotel. Maybe a fancy brunch spot. But no, she drove straight to Ryan's apartment. This wasn't just an affair. This was intimate. She wasn't just screwing him in some hotel room like a fling. She was going to his home. That meant she was comfortable with him. That meant she'd probably been here many times before. I parked a block away and waited. 2 hours later, she came back out, hair slightly messy, cheeks flushed, wearing a different shirt than the one she left in. Disgust twisted in my gut, but I swallowed it down. I wasn't ready to explode. Not yet. That night, I put my plan into motion. I ordered Amanda's favorite takeout, opened a bottle of wine, played it calm. She looked a little guilty, like she wasn't sure whether to be affectionate or distant. I made the choice for her. I leaned in, brushed my fingers along her jaw. You seem different lately, she tensed. What do you mean? I smiled. I don't know, just happier. Like you've got some secret making you glow. Amanda laughed, nervous. That's ridiculous. I reached for my glass. I mean, it's probably the gym, right? That trainer of yours. What's his name again? Ryan? Her eyes flicked up to mine, cautious. Yeah, Ryan. I let the silence stretch, let her feel the weight of the name. Then I took a slow sip of wine and gave her the first rope to hang herself with. You ever think about how guys like that must get hit on all the time? I mean, personal trainers. Always around women in yoga pants, touching them, whispering in their ears. I bet some of them take advantage of that, huh? Amanda's face froze. A second too long before she laughed and said, "Oh no, Ryan's not like that." "Bullshit." I shrugged. "Guess you'd know better than me. You two spend so much time together." She smiled, but I saw the tightness in it. "He's just a trainer, Chris." That was her first real lie, and I let her believe I bought it. I needed her to think she was safe, that I had no idea, because tomorrow I was going to destroy Ryan Keller. The next morning, I texted Stephanie. "I'm ready. Can you get me the names of a few other women he scammed?" Stephanie. "You sure? Once we go down this road, there's no turning back." I've never been more sure of anything in my life. I spent the day tracking down 2 more of Ryan's former victims. One of them, Sarah, had lost her house because of this asshole. The other, Michelle, had gone through a nasty divorce after Ryan convinced her to leave her husband, only to ghost her weeks later. They both hated him, and they were more than happy to help me take him down. By the time Amanda left for spin class, my plan was set. I followed her, keeping my distance. And when she walked into the gym, I gave it 10 minutes. Then I walked in after her. Ryan was right there, near the squat racks, surrounded by a few female clients. His smile was smooth, his confidence unshakable, until his eyes landed on me. And just for a split second, that smile cracked. "Hey," I said casually, stepping up next to him. "You must be Ryan." He wiped his palms on his shorts, sizing me up. "Yeah. And you are?" I grinned. "Chris, Amanda's husband." I swear to God. I felt the blood drain from his face. He covered quick, though, forced a friendly chuckle. "Oh yeah, Amanda talks about you. I bet she fucking does." I didn't waste time. I pulled out my phone and opened my camera roll. "Funny thing," I said, tilting the screen toward him. "I found these pictures of you. Want to explain why you were sneaking my wife into your apartment yesterday?" Ryan locked up. His jaw clenched. His fingers twitched. He was good, but I was better. Because before he could even start the bullshit, I dropped the bomb. "You're a scam artist, Ryan," I said, voice low. "I know about Sarah, Michelle, Stephanie. I know about every woman you've ever conned. And guess what? So do they." Ryan's whole body tensed. He opened his mouth, but I cut him off. "You played the wrong woman this time, because I'm not just some dumb husband. I'm the end of the fucking line for you." I stepped closer, voice deadly quiet. "You have one chance to make this easy. You tell Amanda the truth. Tonight, you admit you manipulated her, used her for money, and then, you disappear. You leave this gym, this town, and you never con another woman again." Ryan scoffed, but I saw the fear behind his eyes. "And if I don't?" I smirked. "Then tomorrow morning, I'm sending everything I have to the police." I let the words sink in. The bank statements, the messages, the other women who were willing to testify. Ryan swallowed hard. He knew he was fucked, and for the first time in his life, he had nowhere to run. Ryan Keller was cornered, and he knew it. He stood there in the middle of the gym, sweat beading at his temple, eyes darting around like a rat looking for an escape route. But there wasn't one. Not this time. I watched as his brain ran through the options. Fight, lie, bluff his way out. None of it would work, because I had him. And the best part? I wasn't alone. Stephanie walked in first. Then Sarah. Then Michelle. Ryan went pale. I saw it in real time, the exact moment he realized his whole game was over. "Hey, Ryan," Stephanie said. Arms crossed, voice dripping with venom. "Long time, huh?" Michelle wasn't as friendly. She stormed right up to him and slapped him across the face so hard that half the gym turned to look. "You ruined my fucking life," she hissed. Ryan stumbled back, jaw clenching. His mask of charm and confidence was gone now. "Good. Listen," he started, hands up. "This is a misunderstanding. I think." I cut him off. "No. You don't get to talk." The whole gym was watching now. Amanda, still on her stationary bike, had finally noticed the scene unfolding. She pulled out her earbuds, confused, staring at me, at Ryan, at the three other women now circling like sharks. I turned to her, keeping my voice steady. This was the moment. "Amanda," I said, holding up my phone. "We need to talk. Right now." She blinked. "Chris, what? Now?" I snapped, voice firm enough that she froze. Then, slowly, she got off the bike. Ryan tried to slink away, but Michelle grabbed his wrist. She snarled. "You're staying for this." Stephanie pulled out her phone. "Actually, let's go live. The other women he scammed might want to see this too." Ryan panicked. "Don't. Come on. We don't need to." "Too late," she said, hitting record. And just like that, Ryan Keller's con was officially going public. Amanda and I stepped outside. She was still confused, still had no idea how deep the shit she was standing in really was. "Chris, what the hell is going on?" she demanded. I took a deep breath. This was it. "I know," I said. "I know about him. I know about the hotel. I know about the money you sent. I know about every fucking lie you've told me for the last 6 months." Amanda's face drained of color. She opened her mouth. Probably to lie, to deny, to play dumb. But I didn't give her the chance. I pulled out my phone and scrolled to the bank statements. $4,000, Amanda. For fucking grand. Care to explain why you've been paying your trainer? Her mouth opened and closed like a fish gasping for air. She was scrambling, trying to find a way out of this. I let her. I wanted to see how far she'd go before she cracked. "It's not, Chris, it's not what you think," she stammered. "Ryan, he's been helping me and—" "Helping you what?" I barked. "Helping you cheat on me? Helping you drain our account so you can fund his fucking lifestyle?" Amanda flinched. There it was. Guilt. I stepped closer, lowering my voice. "Did he tell you you were special? That you were different? That he actually cared about you?" She looked away. That was my answer. I exhaled. "Amanda, listen to me. You were scammed. He never loved you. He never cared about you. You were just another paycheck to him. And you're not even the first. Or the last." Her lips trembled. "No, I don't believe you. Ryan isn't." I shoved my phone in her face again. This time, I showed her the texts. From Ryan. To other women. The exact same bullshit lines. Her breath hitched. Her hands shook as she read. Then she scrolled. And scrolled. And the realization hit her like a freight train. Ryan had played her. Just like he played all the others. Amanda stumbled back, hand over her mouth. "Oh my God," she whispered. "Oh my fucking God." I didn't say anything. I just watched. Watched as her world fell apart the same way mine had weeks ago. Watched as she finally understood. Watched as the tears started falling. She looked up at me, eyes full of horror, shame, regret. "Chris, I didn't care. I didn't fucking care. You didn't just cheat on me," I said, my voice ice. "You made me feel crazy. You lied to my face over and over. And for what? For some 2-bit scam artist who didn't give a shit about you." Amanda sobbed. "I didn't know." "Yeah. Well, now you do." I turned on my heel and walked back inside, leaving her standing there, broken and alone. I wasn't done yet. Not even close. Ryan still needed one final nail in his coffin. And I was about to make sure he never conned another woman again. Ryan Keller was ruined. Stephanie's livestream had blown up. Within an hour, the video had thousands of views. The comments section? Pure fire. "This scumbag trained my sister. She took out a loan for him. I always knew he was sketchy. Gym brothers like this are all the same. Holy shit. He did the same thing to my coworker last year." The stories kept coming in. Women tagging other women, sharing their experiences, putting the final nails in Ryan's coffin. The best part? Someone had sent the link to his gym manager. 10 minutes later, Ryan Keller was officially fired. But I wasn't done yet. Not even close. Because now, I wanted to watch him burn. Amanda was still outside the gym when I left. She was pacing, phone clutched in her trembling hand, probably trying to figure out how the fuck to salvage what was left of her life. I didn't care. I walked straight past her, got in my truck, and drove to the one place I knew would make this whole situation go nuclear. Her parents' house. Bill and Linda Parker had always liked me. More than that, they had loved me. I was the golden boy who took care of their little girl. The good husband. The one who made sure Amanda had a house, a future, a stable life. And now I was about to shatter the illusion. Bill opened the door, beer in hand, face lighting up. "Chris. Hey man, what brings you by?" I exhaled, shaking my head. "Bill, you might want to sit down for this." 5 minutes later, I had them both at the kitchen table. Linda was already dabbing at her eyes. Bill's face was red as hell. Fists clenched on the table as I laid it all out. Everything. The affair. The money. The scam. The fucking hotel visits. Linda gasped. "Oh my God." Bill slammed his beer down so hard the can nearly exploded. "That little fucking." He didn't even finish the sentence. He shot up from his chair, grabbing his phone. "Bill, honey, don't," Linda pleaded, grabbing his arm. "I'm calling her, Linda. She's gonna explain herself right fucking now." I didn't stop him. I wanted this. I wanted Amanda to feel the walls closing in from every direction. The phone rang twice before she picked up. "Dad." Bill's voice was like a gunshot. "What the hell is wrong with you?" I could hear Amanda stammering on the other end, but he wasn't letting her get a word in. "You had a good man, Amanda. A man who gave you everything. And you threw it away for some scamming lowlife. Dad, please. Don't dad me. You humiliated this family. You lied to your own husband. You stole from him." I watched as Linda broke down in silent sobs. Amanda was saying something now. I couldn't hear it, but Bill's face was pure disgust. "You're coming here. Right now." "Dad, I can't." "Oh, you better believe you're going to. Because if you don't, I'm disowning you, Amanda. You are not welcome in this house. Ever again." Silence. Then, a choked sob from the other end. I'm coming." Click. Bill set his phone down, jaw clenched so tight I thought he might crack a tooth. "She better pray I don't kill her when she gets here," he muttered. I almost felt bad for her. Almost. I left before Amanda arrived. I had one last stop to make. Because Ryan Keller? He was still out there. And I wasn't just gonna let him walk away from this. He was packing his car when I pulled up to his apartment. Frantic. Shoving bags into his trunk. Throwing shit into the back seat. He knew his game was over. Too bad for him, I wasn't done playing. I parked directly behind him, cutting off his escape. He saw me. Froze. His hands clenched at his sides, jaw working like he was trying to think of something. Anything. To say that would make the situation less fucking deadly for him. I got out of my truck, walking toward him slow, deliberate, the way a hunter stalks its prey. "You running somewhere, Keller?" I asked, voice cool. He swallowed. "Chris, listen, man. I held up my phone. "You should probably see this." I hit play. It was a voicemail. From Michelle. "Hey Chris, just a heads up, I called the cops. Ryan took money from me under false pretenses, and I'm pressing charges. I'm pretty sure a few other women will too. Thought you'd want to know." Ryan's face drained of color. "Guess you won't be making it out of town after all," I mused, pocketing my phone. He took a step back. "Chris, I can give the money back. Whatever Amanda gave me, I'll return it. Just." I stepped closer. "You don't get it, do you?" I said, voice barely above a whisper. "This isn't about money anymore. It was about justice. It was about every single woman you've ever manipulated. It was about every lie you've ever told. And now, it was about revenge." Ryan looked around like maybe someone might step in, maybe someone might save him. No one did. Because no one was coming for him. And then, the sirens. His head snapped toward the street, eyes wide with panic as the flashing red and blue lights rounded the corner. He bolted. I let him run. Let him get halfway down the block before the cops tackled his sorry ass to the pavement. Ryan Keller, fitness guru, scam artist, and all-around piece of shit? Arrested. I stood there, watching them shove him into the back of a squad car, hands cuffed behind his back, face pressed against the window. And when our eyes met one last time, I smiled, because Ryan Keller's life was officially fucking over. One problem down, one more to go. Amanda. And I knew exactly how I was going to end this. Amanda was waiting for me when I got home. Her face was a wreck. Mascara smudged, eyes swollen. The kind of crying that left a person hollowed out. I didn't feel bad. Not one bit. "Chris," she whispered. "Please." I held up a hand. "Don't." She flinched, but I didn't give a damn. I grabbed the divorce papers off the counter, prepped and printed earlier that day, and dropped them in front of her. Her hands shook as she picked them up. You already had these?" I nodded. "This was always how it was going to end, Amanda." She sobbed, but I didn't stay to watch. I turned, grabbed my keys, and walked out the door. No final words.
No goodbyes.
Just the end of us. And for the first time in months, I felt free.